Hi, it's Adair Palmer here, and I'm doing the Friday Facebook Fix live in the group Social Media for Small Biz Owners. Welcome to this sunny day in Adelaide from wherever you are around the globe. We do have a lot of people jumping in on the Friday Facebook Fix because there's a lot of information that I give out and a lot of stuff to get through. Got a very exciting Friday Facebook Fix for you today. I am sharing with you a story called A Stranger to Australia. I've written a blog about it, but I haven't published it yet. I actually wrote it, sorry, my glasses are falling out. I actually wrote it about probably, or maybe, I'm thinking 6 months ago, I reckon. And I thought, it was just not an opportunity to publish it. And hi Theone, good morning, great to see you here. And I thought, okay, well I'm going to publish it, but I wasn't quite sure, how it was going to look or how it was going to go. But today it just feels right to share this story with you. I don't know if when you hook in regularly, you will see when I usually go Friday Facebook Fix, here are my neatly typed up notes. Actually today, check this out. There are my neatly typed up notes. So this is probably one of the times when I've actually done it back to front, because normally I'll do the Friday Facebook Fix with some scribble notes. But this time I'm going to try and do it the other way around. The value of doing it with the scribbled notes is that you don't get an opportunity to actually read, which I don't want to do because it sounds just like I'm reading and you can actually read it yourself. So what I'd like to do is just share with you, and I'll just come around a bit. I'll just actually pull my screen around a bit because I haven't set that up properly in the interest of being authentic. And so you get to know, I have this screen behind me because it actually reflects the light, and I think it actually helps get a better quality video. So, and it also hides the mess. So if you just see around that side of the screen, you can see, oh look, there's hubby. You can see him in the mirror. There we go. Hang on, there he is in real life. So we share an office. It's this bit's called the girl cave, and that bit's called the boy cave. So we actually share the, the cave together, and I find the screen actually just helps sort of make it a bit cleaner and a bit tidier. So you might want to think about doing that when you're doing live video for your peeps as well, or go outside and where it's nice and sunny and you've got some great light, because there's nothing worse than doing video with when it's all grainy and low light and you just can't see, because it's just frustrating. So if you're doing live video, this is a tip that I wasn't going to talk about today, but if you are doing live video, because it's such a hot topic, just remember to try and get your lighting right and be in a space where, and also your audio. So I'm not quite sure how this is coming through, but it's hope that your audio, I've got the headphones in, so if there's any disruption from that end of the cave, then you won't be, I won't be distracted and you won't be distracted by it as well. Okay, let me just share with you this story. Now, I'm going to sort of follow fairly closely to the blog, because it's a pretty well written blog and I think it's pretty cool. So I was actually thinking the other day about how easy it is to get clients and customers on Facebook. And now I know when I'm thinking about that, when I talk to small business owners, mostly they go, you've got to be kidding me, it's really, really hard and you've got to put in so much effort. It's just like, I do all this stuff and nobody comes, nobody's interested in my product, nobody wants to talk to me, nobody wants to have my service. And they go, in my blog, I've actually used some other words, but they go, bleep, it's hard. And I've got no one in my program using my product, no one's doing this, no one's engaging, no one's interacting, no one wants to know me, and I feel like Nigel. No, what I want to suggest about that is because when I ask people, like, how long have you been on Facebook? Well, most people say, I know, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Usually it's around about a year, I find, that people start going, well, this isn't working. 6 months to a year, because you just flog your guts out just trying to do stuff for that time. and it just while you're getting some exposure and you're getting some momentum, it actually could be more detrimental to you if you're not doing it the right way. So if you wonder how others are doing it and how others are being so successful and engaged on Facebook, and you're just getting pissed off because you're spending all of this time joining groups, doing posts, and just feeling like you're just completely on that hamster wheel running around, round, and actually not getting anywhere. You might get a little nibble here or there, and you might get some success, but really it just is, for the amount of inordinate effort that you're putting in, for what you're getting back is absolutely just, there's not even a ratio measurement to it. So if you're feeling like that at all, and when you are actually reach out and try and connect with people, if you'd send them a message, it could be just to do that, try and connect. If you've been doing this for a while, what you might find is that they either won't respond to you, or they'll try and pitch you back their business, and it's probably given the network marketing world a bit of a bad rap, because it's actually, the direct sales stuff is such a massive opportunity on Facebook to get your direct sales right and create create engagement. And sorry, let me have a bit of a drink of water. That's better. So it just is, it's a pretty bleak picture for people who have been on Facebook for 6 months to a year and joined all these groups and posted their links and really had nothing back. What I'm going to suggest is, the reason I wrote the blog called A Stranger to Australia, and it's a bit of a story, and I just share that with you because it absolutely has everything to do with how you work your Facebook presence. Now, it was about 4 years ago. I was working with a not-for-profit, a volunteer resource centre. I was writing grant submissions, and I was doing project work. And part of that project work included setting up the policy for their social media and training the board and the other staff members in how to run social media, or particularly do Facebook, as an organisation, as a not-for-profit organisation. So I set it all up. I had there was 4 paid staff in that organisation. It was a fairly small organisation, and probably about 70 or 80 volunteers. So we had the policy. I'd done training. And what I'd done is actually set up, because I was part-time and there was only 2 full-time staff there, so the rest of us were all part-time and the volunteers came in part-time. So I trained the staff and a couple of key volunteers. It says my connection's weak. I'm assuming that I might be pixelated, but you can probably hear me okay. So I trained the staff and a couple of key volunteers in actually how to use Facebook for their business, for the not-for-profit business. And it included responding to messages, and it included posting and all that, sort of everything that I talk to small business owners now about doing, but in the context of a not-for-profit. And there isn't a huge amount of difference on Facebook, because you actually have to be yourself, whether you're an organisation with a lot of people or a solo operator. It's actually critical that you have a personable presence on Facebook. That's my belief. If anyone's doing it successfully and not being real and themselves on Facebook, I'd love to know. But in my experience, and it's gaining vast experience, it actually hasn't. I haven't come across anyone who said, look, I'm anonymous on Facebook and I'm actually, sort of hit my 7 figures and, got a gazillion clients and customers. I just have never, ever heard of that happening. So happy to be challenged on that, absolutely. But so far I haven't been. So just referring to my notes here, we were getting heaps of engagement, heaps of fans. We were doing all the posts, the content, the engaging posts. People starting to contact us more and more via Messenger than what they were ringing up. We still had lots of people ringing up, and also people contacting us through our website, because that was like the traditional ways, and this is going back 4 years, and 4 years is like a lifetime in social media world. Excuse me. So I got this message from a girl in the UK, and I just scrolled down a bit. She'd actually introduced herself, and she was just wanting to connect because she was a executive director of a resource centre in the UK. So what she'd done is she'd gone to Facebook, she'd searched for volunteer resource centres, so there were connection points there already. She'd actually connected with each of the volunteer resource centres in South Australia because she said we didn't know at the time when she first connected, but she wanted to migrate to Adelaide. She decided on Adelaide, and so she made contact with the people who had Facebook presence on the resource centres. So we've got quite a number of volunteer resource centres dotted around South Australia. Some of them are council funded and council supported. Some of them are government funded, or actually all of them have got some sort of local. So some of them are local government funded, some of them are state government funded, and then some are Commonwealth funded, or some are a mix of all three. So we've got this network, and we've got when I was in part of it, and we had quite a tight-knit group. Like, everybody knew in that industry. Everybody knew everybody else, because that's what you do when you're in any industry. You connect and you network and you get to know each other and you build relationships and all that sort of stuff. It's no different on Facebook, by the way. So, and I think I've just given her a name. I'm going to call her Tracy, because she was executive officer at a volunteer resource centre in the UK, and she wanted to come over to South Australia. She wanted to settle in Adelaide. She knew no one. She had a husband and two young boys, and so she reached out to us on Facebook. She made connections. So as I got the message, I said to the chief executive officer at that time, how about you, connect with this girl, because she seems really cool and she's just reached out and wanted to connect. So we connected, and she kept in touch. She kept sending regular messages and getting to know us, and we were starting to get to know her fairly well. And it sort of got to the stage where, you look forward to hearing from her. And I don't know what's happened to my voice today. Excuse me. We're getting to the stage where we're sharing jokes and finding out a bit about her family, and her parents are still in they're all still in England and in the UK, and how old the boys were, the sorts of things they liked, and it just was feeling like we actually got to know her, and I did as well, because eventually we connected on Facebook as through our personal profiles, and we continued the relationship there as well. So we weren't strangers anymore. We were just friends who hadn't met yet, and it was really interesting that Tracy had been doing this. I just scrolled up a little bit more. Tracy had been doing this with other people as well, and but she had mentioned at some point in the conversation that her hubby and two children were really keen to migrate to Australia, and she was in the process of looking at all the legalities of how, and all the migration laws and all that type of thing, to see if it could be done. I know, well, of course it can be done, but how it can be done. So she was establishing her network in South Australia, and then she was also looking at the laws, the migration laws, and seeing about the feasibility and possibility of just uprooting a whole family from the UK and just landing here in Australia, in Adelaide. So we just said, good luck, and look us up when you get there. She had bigger plans. What we did was followed her. Well, I did personally, became a personal friend and followed her progress with great interest. And we'd actually, as I said before, we'd connected on Facebook as through our personal profiles, as well as through the business page for the organisation. Now, it's interesting that I said before that the volunteering network and the resource centre network is fairly tight. But people talk, we know each other, and it was no surprise to find out that Tracy had actually tapped into all of the volunteer resource centres and gotten to know she'd done the same thing with all of them. So I'm going, that's one smart cookie right there. What happened was she was actually offered a position in a volunteer resource centre that it was at the other end of Adelaide to where this resource centre was that I was working in. And she had a job to come to once, and which was really interesting because she had the job and it actually helped her to decide where they were going to look for a house once they came to Australia. So at that point it was only a part-time job, but she had something to come to Australia too. Now she is now executive officer at that centre. So and that was about 4 years ago, so maybe a little bit more than 4 years ago. This is quite amazing. She was also good friends with the president of an international association for volunteer managers. That it was actually, funny enough, it was the international association that I'm the founding member of and helped set up from scratch. So I was vice president of that association for several years, which isn't anything to do with this story, but I thought I'd throw that in for good measure. But she's ended up on the board of that association, and she's taken a lead role in helping move that association forward, and she's still really good friends with the girl who's president of that association. So clearly she had a lot to offer to South Australia for her expertise in the industry of volunteering and volunteer management. So what happened was then she put out, just following the timeline there, because when I put this out, she actually put out a call on Facebook to her new friends in South Australia that were connected into the volunteering industry. So looking for rental properties, and she was looking for loan furniture for when she and her husband and her two boys landed in Australia, because she'd set a date by that time and they were on their way. So they flew over and they had their furniture and all their belongings shipped over in a container. So there was a lag of, 6 weeks or however long it was between when they flew in and between when their furniture arrived. So she actually had a fully furnished house, a rental property to come into when they landed in Australia. Someone even offered a loan car. So this is until they were able to get their own vehicle. I know I offered a mattress. We didn't have any beds to spare, but I had a mattress that they were able to, that I offered them. And people were just so generous, and because she developed the relationships and she'd bothered to get to know people and just share with them. I just think it's such a clever story, a clever thing to do. Now, so fast forward 4 and a half years later, Tracy and her family are fully settled in South Australia now. As I said before, she is now executive officer of that organisation that she got a part-time job in. Both her parents are working. The kids are at school. She even got recommendations for schools for her kids to go to before she got here. So the kids were enrolled, so they knew the school that they were going to. And they didn't know a soul before they moved here. So I've met her. She is as lovely in person as she is on Facebook, and she used the best skills. And Theone's saying, I met one of my best friends on Facebook. It's one of the most genuine friendships I have. There's nothing, there's something to online dating. Totally, Theone, it absolutely is. So what I want to share, because I know this story is taking a bit longer than what I'd like, and we've only got a few minutes now to 11, but I wanted to just say that Tracy if you're wondering about the moral to this story, Tracy had a strategy in contacting us. Now, it was a clearly defined strategy, and she was absolutely making the best use of her knowledge and her skills, and zeroing in laser focus on who she wanted to contact by organisations she wanted to contact. The people that within those organisations, because she specifically asked to be connected with the chief executive officer or the executive officer. So she was going straight to the top. She knew her abilities and she was zeroing in on that. She had a laser focus, and she picked up some of the rest of us along the way because, you know, we'd made that contact with her, but she was absolutely laser focused. She took the time, and I've got this in cap lock, she took the time to develop relationships with us. She showed herself to be a consistent and a trustworthy person in the way she conducted herself on Facebook. She was interesting, she was engaging, and she was a great person to hang out with online. So, you know, it was just interesting because when she had a favour to ask, everybody was eager to help, and it showed. Like, these were pretty big favours. It wasn't just share my post, people. It was find me a house and fill it with furniture and get me a car and put my kids in school. Like, this is serious stuff. We were eager to help because we knew her and we liked her and we trusted her. So the proof is in the pudding. If you fail to take the time to get to know people, to let them see the real you get to know the real them in the process. You know, if you don't do that, you're just failing to do yourself and your business any favours at all. So if you're saying that you don't have time to do any more than just pop in and post and pop out and do the seagull thing, I actually think that's false economy. So the moral to the story is it's got to be part of your overall strategy. Tracy did it. She took months and months of careful cultivating in a very authentic way, and she did it with integrity. And I'm suggesting that those of you who want instant results to rethink what you have to do to get instant results. Now, those instant results do happen, but just not instantly. Have you ever heard of like overnight success that's taken months or years to get to? There's interesting thing is on Facebook, you can have an overnight success or instant results because of the speed this platform works. You can actually condense that to probably days or weeks, even like what I was going to say, months, weeks, or even days, your instant results. I've had absolutely overnight, like instant results, but those instant results have taken months to cultivate. But it didn't take years. It didn't take years like it used to. It just takes months. So if you're looking for some specifics on doing it right, I'm just going to read through these quickly. And you have your strategy written down. That strategy includes all aspects of growing your presence on Facebook. Do more than just liking other business pages, one words or comments. Be engaging, make comments that can generate discussions, ask questions, connect with page owners who contribute regularly, contribute regularly to the theme days if they have them, especially in groups. You can make your biggest impact in groups, but don't neglect pages because you help other page owners, business page owners get engagement on their page, and they'll help you get engagement on your page. In groups, again, take the time to add value, be seen as a thought leader, you do know your stuff. You just got to be not salesy about it. Connect with a group admin and help other people who reach out for help if you can, or wherever you can. If you message new people you don't know, do not, and I repeat, do not offer them a wonderful business opportunity before you've even introduced yourself. This is a cardinal sin, people, and too many people do it. If you stop doing that, already you put yourself ahead of the rest of the pack. Focus on getting to know them and creating lasting connections. They may be part of your instant results down the track. So if you friend people you don't know, always send them a courtesy message, ask them if they'd like to connect, and say the reason that you want to connect with them, and make it a non-biz reason. You might be in the same group, or you might be have friends in common, you like to hang out with like-minded people, But that also must fit your avatar. So make sure that you've got your avatar fully developed and clear, crystal clear in your mind who that person is. If people you don't know send you a request with no message, ask them why they're wanting to connect. Always do that. They'll either pitch you and then you'll get a first-hand feel about what it's like to be pitched straight up, or they might want to marry you, or they might just say that they want to connect with like-minded people, if they respond at all. You can use what comes back to decide whether you want to continue with that connection and build the relationship or not. That means you get to take control of the conversation. Well, I think Tracy did it well, and I do it well, I think. And I know a minority of other people who do it well. And your advantage is that not many people do this well. So you can become part of the minority. By doing that, give yourself the edge that no one else seems to want to have. So if you're willing just to slow down a little bit and give yourself a bit of space to connect with properly with a few people at a time rather than spammily to dozens of people at a time, you're actually going to have a lot more fun, be a lot more productive, and get your results a lot quicker than just being like a seagull and flying in, crapping all over the place and flying out. I just want to ask you too, would you treat, if you had a shop front, would you treat a customer who walked into your shop like that? I suspect not. So I want you to treat every single person that you come into contact with on Facebook as a potential client or a potential customer. Whether they're spamming you or not, you can just treat them as a potential client or customer. If they are spamming you, then use it as an opportunity to educate. And I know that can be frustrating, but it's really vitally important that you do that. So I would actually love to know what you're doing well is working for you right now. So you can feel free to share. Savitri, hi, I see you've joined me too. Awesome. You can feel free to share and to educate the masses. Now, the other thing I just wanted to say, I'm just going to be over time, just a few minutes. I don't normally go over time, but I did want to welcome the new people to the group. We've got Claire, Sammy, Sue, Ilona, I think that's how you pronounce your name, Ilona, Rob, Narelle, Ben, Lauren, Chris, Diana, Marip, Jenny, Peter, Annaline, Tara, Nathan, Kayla, and Gerard. Welcome to the group, and use the group as it's intended to help you grow your business, and you'll find that make the connections with people. Please don't spam the group. I do a post, approved posts, and the other day I deleted 40 posts, and I found in the middle of those seagull posts, I found a genuine post of somebody asking a question and wanting some help on Facebook for their business. If you want to spam, go over to the other group, advertise your business page here, and then post away to your heart's content. But I actually know you will be wasting your time. If you're desperate to get high engagement and organic reach on your business page, join me on the 27th of February. I'll be running another week-long 747 accelerator course, which is creating massive engagement and organic reach on your business page. The last course I ran a couple of weeks ago was a astounding, resounding success. We had so many people just go, wow, this is working so well. Learning new tips and tricks and tools and how to create engagement that's sustainable and that actually gives them the results that they're looking for. And I'll put some testimonies up here too, because it's so important to learn to slow down and to do some stuff on your page to actually maximize your presence here and get people to engage and to get that organic reach. So your opportunity, I've put in the link above there. It's got a bit.ly link, $7 for 7 days, because it will cost you $7 to join that course. It is $1 a day, and it will be the best money you ever invested, believe me. on that note, I've got a few minutes over time. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Oh, yes, Savitri, otherwise known as Smith Karen, well, Facebook irons out her face bugs. Savitri said it's a phenomenal program. Get on it and be there. Yes, you were there, Savitri, and I just, I can see, I love it when the light goes on. And Theoni, yes, you were there. It totally was. Thank you for your support and endorsing the program, and I look forward to running it again to a whole new group of people who are looking to get that massive organic reach and engagement on their business pages. We're off and running, folks. Have a great weekend. I will see you I'll actually see you in the group tomorrow for Super Saturday in social media for Small Biz Owners Group, and come along and play, join in, and again, that's a great start to getting massive organic reach and engagement on your business page. Have a great day. Bye to you all. See you.